For example, you are standing in a bus and the bus accelerates forward and you feel a force in the opposite direction, right? So you come to the conclusion that Newton's laws have failed, right? I'm only talking from the scientific perspective, of course. Uh, बस में वाकई में ऐसा हो जाए तो you will come to the conclusion कि बैठ जाना चाहिए. So you will come to or the observer will come to the conclusion that Newton's laws have failed. Okay? Why have they failed? Well, the observer will say that look, I am standing on the floor of the bus, and therefore the forces acting on me are mg downwards due to Earth. This cannot result. This is not. It is not possible that this can cause horizontal acceleration. The other force acting on me is normal reaction acting upwards. And again, this is also not possible that this can cause a horizontal acceleration. As far as friction is concerned, friction cannot uh, friction cannot spontaneously appear, right? मतलब मैं अपने घर में अपने कमरे में खड़ा हुआ हूँ और अचानक से मुझे धक्का लग गया. क्यों लग गया भाई? क्योंकि नहीं, फ्रिक्शन आ गया अचानक से. ऐसा तो नहीं होता. So the observer comes to a conclusion that the Newton's laws have Newton's first law and second law have failed. The observer is experiencing a force which has got nothing to do with any object in his surrounding. First law has failed. And if there is no force and there is an acceleration, then second law has failed. To resurrect Newton's laws in this non-inertial frame of reference is very easy. All the observer has to do is think about an imaginary force. All the observer has to do is add an imaginary force on the FBD the observer is drawing. Okay? Now, we have talked about linear non-inertial frames of reference. That means that whatever non-inertial frames of reference we talked about, they were moving translationally, right? And just to again revise, a non-inertial frame of reference or a non-inertial observer is an observer or a frame which is accelerated with respect to an observer on the ground. And by definition, an observer on the ground is deemed to be an inertial observer. Okay? So either the observer on the surface of the earth will be inertial, or an observer who is very, very far away from all the galaxies, all the stars, right? Somewhere in the middle of some godforsaken place in space, that guy will be an inertial observer. Okay? So there are two possibilities. Any observer or any frame seen by these inertial observers, which is accelerated, will be designated a non-inertial observer or a non-inertial frame of reference. This non-inertial observer must include this pseudo force or this imaginary force in his or her FBD. Otherwise, for that observer, Newton's laws of motion are simply not going to work. Okay? A similar effect arises when the frame of reference is rotating. Okay? So when the frame of reference is rotating, it turns out that there are three different types of pseudo forces. So in that way, thoda sa complication increase ho jayega, right? But the good news is that out of these three different imaginary forces that arise in rotating frames of references or for rotating observers, The last two, or two out of three pseudo forces, imaginary forces, happen to be out of our syllabus. We only have to discuss one pseudo force, one imaginary force. Okay, okay. So we want to, भैया स्मिथ, जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो सुनो ना. How come you have time to type यार? अभी कुछ टाइप नहीं करना unless it is a doubt. So for a rotating observer or in a rotating frame of reference, there will be three types of pseudo forces. I will write down, I will tell you about all the three, I will tell you about the mathematics of all the three, but at the end, when we do problems, you will find that only one out of those three pseudo forces will appear. The numericals that we will do will only deal with one of these three imaginary forces. Okay. So let me tell you about the imaginary forces that act in these rotating frames of reference and what are the conditions. Of course, अगर तीन अलग-अलग pseudo forces हैं, तो तीन अलग-अलग conditions होनी चाहिए, जहाँ पे जो conditions match होंगी, वहाँ पे वो pseudo force लगेगा, right? So the first one is called the centrifugal force. Okay? And again, as with all frames of, as with all non-inertial frames of reference, please remember that this effect is only there for non-inertial observers. For inertial observers, imaginary forces can never exist. Okay? So non-inertial rotating frames of reference, there are three types of imaginary or pseudo forces. First is called the centrifugal force, okay? And it acts in all rotating frames and it acts on all objects. Right? It's very weird जो मैंने लिखा है, but I will explain. So the centrifugal force is the imaginary or the pseudo force that will be experienced by a rotating observer acting on various objects that the observer can see. Okay, and the thing about centrifugal forces is that it acts in all rotating frames. अगर एक कोई भी frame है वो rotate कर रहा है तो वहाँ पे pseudo force act, ये centrifugal force act करेगी ही करेगी, है? हाँ, zero हो सकता है, बिल्कुल हाँ. And it acts on all objects, right? Now this is the weird statement. So let me explain why I have written this. It turns out that these pseudo forces are dependent not only on the fact that the observer is rotating, but they are also dependent on the fact that whether the object being observed is stationary or in motion. Right? तो मैं अभी अर्थ के सरफेस पे हूँ. For the moment, let us forget about the fact that Earth's surface is defined as a inertial frame of reference. For the moment, let's forget about it. Because we are talking about rotating frames and Earth is rotating, so we know that sitting on our study tables, we are rotating observers, right? So I am in my house right now a rotating observer. Okay? So what do I see? Well, I see an object which is kept in front of me, which is stationary. Okay, everybody, all of you are, if you look around, if you look on your table only, you will see objects which are stationary. So you are a rotating observer looking at something which is stationary. Now, if I were to take a ball and if I were to go outside and if I were to drop the ball from the balcony or throw the ball from the balcony, or inside my room only, if I were to throw an object from this end to that end, then that object for me as an observer will be in motion. Okay, so there are two distinct types of objects that this rotating observer can see. Number one, objects which are stationary, and number two, objects which are moving. Right, I don't care about their acceleration, I don't care about their velocity. We are only saying that there are two types of objects that can be observed by the rotating observer. One, the observed object is stationary. Two, the observed object is moving. Right? Centrifugal force will act on both these objects. Right? So, irrespective of the fact that the object which is being observed is stationary or it is in motion, it will be experiencing a centrifugal force. Okay, so the pen right now on your table, I hope you have a pen on the table, will be experiencing a centrifugal force because at the end of the day, we are in a rotating frame of reference. And by the end of this chapter, we will actually try to calculate what this pseudo force will be or what this pseudo force on the pen is. Okay? So centrifugal force is going to act on all objects. Number two, the second uh, type of force is the Coriolis force. ठीक है? Okay? Velocity zero है तो उससे क्या हुआ पार्थ? उससे क्या? I mean, what do you conclude? Will do you still think like a caveman and will say, oh, ये नहीं move कर रहा है तो इस पे कोई force नहीं होनी चाहिए? Or will you be modern in your outlook and say that if this object is not moving, then the net force on this object must be zero? क्या होना चाहिए? What should be the conclusion? बताओ भाई, क्या conclusion होना चाहिए? Number one, हाँ, ये सोचना चाहिए ना, नेट फोर्स जीरो होनी चाहिए. तो क्या आपके सामने जो पेन रखा है उस पे सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स लग रही है? हाँ, लग रही है. Right, and we will see at the end of this, I think today only, hopefully we will see that आपके पेन के ऊपर वो जो सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स लगी है बहुत टाइनी, बहुत माइन्यूट है, and it is because of the fact that it is minute, there is a very small friction on it as well, and therefore the net force on your pen is zero, and that's why you don't see your pen moving under the influence of this centrifugal force, right? Good question. Very good question. Yes. The second force is the Coriolis force, right? I think in 9th or 10th, maybe in geography, you would have heard this term, right? So this Coriolis force acts in all rotating frames, and it acts on objects moving with respect to the rotating observer. Right? So इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? Again, we are looking at the table in front of us. तो जो पेन स्टेशनरी रखा हुआ है, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल कि उसके ऊपर ये वाली स्यूडो फोर्स एक्ट करेगी, ये वाली इमेजिनरी फोर्स एक्ट करेगी. इट विल एक्ट ओनली ऑन दोज ऑब्जेक्ट्स व्हिच आर in motion with respect to the rotating observer. So if you throw a ball somewhere, right, or if you throw your pen, don't throw your pen. Pen मत फेंकिए. Ball all है हाथ में. If you throw a ball in your room, right, outside your room, or any moving object that you observe, right, on that object, not only the centrifugal force will be acting, but this Coriolis force will also be acting, right? And again, like Parth said, don't think that these forces are significant. If these forces were significant, then our lives would have been very, very different, right? In fact, if we go to a planet where the rotation is large, right, then on that planet, the forces, the centrifugal Coriolis forces, the effects will be large, right? And they will give rise to very weird phenomena, which I will discuss in a moment. The third force, okay, so I'm just telling you what the names of the forces are, and I'm telling you under what conditions they act. Mathematically, क्या values होती हैं force की, अभी हम discuss करते हैं. So the third force is called the Euler force. Yes, that is the pronunciation for this, Euler. And Euler was one of the greatest mathematicians that the world has ever seen. Right. So this guy and Carl Friedrich Gauss, these two guys were huge. These two guys were intellectually far, far more superior than us. I cannot even imagine how intellectually superior they were, right? So this guy has done some path-breaking work in physics, but unfortunately, वो हमारे सिलेबस में कभी आएगा नहीं, तो हम इसका नाम कभी सुनेंगे नहीं. यहाँ पे एक बार नाम आ रहा है. Maths में maybe you will come across his name more frequently. So the Euler force, it acts in frames which have angular acceleration, and it acts on all objects. Okay. So ये आपके दिमाग में पहले आ जाना चाहिए था, क्योंकि जब हम रोटेशन की बात करते हैं तो रोटेशन में दो पॉसिबिलिटीज. पहली पॉसिबिलिटी है कि जो रोटेटिंग फ्रेम ऑफ रेफरेंस है वो कांस्टेंट एंगुलर वेलोसिटी से घूम रहा है. फॉर एग्जांपल आवर अर्थ, वी आर मूविंग विद अ कांस्टेंट angular velocity. The earth rotates with a constant angular velocity. And the second possibility is that the rotating frame of reference is accelerated, right? there would be no celestial objects which would have uh, angular acceleration, right? That would be very weird. Most of the celestial objects will have a constant angular velocity, but we can have a rotating frame with a constant angular acceleration, right? और constant भी क्यों होना है, कैसा भी angular acceleration? It's very easy. मेरी गो राउंड है, तो मेरी गो राउंड को मुझे घुमाना है, मेरी गो राउंड तो इंजन से घूम रहा है, तो मैं उसमें उसको ऐसे घुमा सकता हूँ कि उसका एंगुलर एक्सेलरेशन हो. In this case, Euler forces will start acting in the rotating frame of reference. So, out of these three forces, the last two forces are not in our syllabus. Okay. Euler force तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं है, वो तो कभी I don't think कभी भी सामने आने वाली है. Coriolis force सिलेबस में नहीं है, बट पैराग्राफ वाले क्वेश्चन में एक आध बार आईआईटी के पेपर में आ चुका है. In any case, I will tell you about the maths of all the three forces, right? And then the numericals that we will do will focus exclusively on the centrifugal force, right? So then let me tell you about the maths behind these three imaginary or these three pseudo forces, which are there, remember, only for a rotating observer. Okay, so please take a screenshot. I'm going to the next slide. Okay, so number one, centrifugal force. एक मिनट बस. So centrifugal force is, I have to tell you what, I have to tell you the magnitude, and I have to tell you the direction of the force, right? So the magnitude of the force and the direction of the centrifugal, these two things are there. And just as a reminder, just as a red flag, I will write here that this force can only be drawn on an FBD being made by a rotating observer. Okay, right? So, what is the magnitude of the force? Rotating observer मतलब non-inertial observer. Okay. Rotating observer मतलब non-inertial observer. So, centrifugal force will have a magnitude which will be given by mass of the system that you are drawing the FBD for, multiplied by omega square of the frame of reference or the observer, multiplied by radius of rotation of the system. Right? So you should never get confused. Number one, the expression is the same as centripetal force. Obviously, it should be. Right? जैसे वहां पे, if you remember, the pseudo force is minus ma, right? इसी तरीके से यहाँ पे भी जो pseudo force का magnitude है, that is the same as the magnitude of the centripetal force. Okay. However, certain things you have to remember. One is that in this expression m omega square r, m is the mass of the object for which the non-inertial observer is drawing the FBD, the rotating guy is drawing the FBD. R is the radius of rotation of not the rotating guy. It is the radius of rotation of the system for which the FBD is being drawn. Okay, I'll give you an example. वो मेरी गो राउंड में, ओके, एंड आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द फिल्मी वाला मेरी गो राउंड, जहाँ पे खूब सारे मेरी गो राउंड पे घोड़े लगे रहते हैं और लोगों को घोड़े पे बैठा दिया जाता है और देन इट गोज राउंड एंड राउंड एंड राउंड एंड पीपल एंजॉय दैट फॉर सम रीजन. सो who is a rotating observer? Well, anybody sitting on those horses is a rotating observer. And what is the system? System can be anything that the observer chooses to observe. So if the observer is sitting on one horse in a merry-go-round and decides to look at another person sitting on another horse, then that would be the system. Now this guy who is observing may be having a radius of rotation which is different from the object that he is observing, right? But it does not matter. हमें radius of rotation of observer से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. बस वो observer rotate कर रहा हो, वो observer उस मेरी गो राउंड के ऊपर हो, कहाँ है कोई लेना देना नहीं है. ये जो ऑब्जेक्ट जिसको ऑब्जर्व किया जा रहा है, जिसका एफबीडी बनाया जा रहा है, वो कहाँ है, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? सो इफ this guy on the horse is looking at another box, let's say, kept on the floor of the merry-go-round, then the magnitude of the centrifugal force will be mass of that box into omega square of the merry-go-round multiplied by radius or the distance of the box from the axis of rotation. The direction of the centrifugal force is radial, and just like we discussed in the normal centrifugal force, it is away from the center, right? So just like we discussed in the normal pseudo force, linear pseudo force, the direction of pseudo force is opposite to the acceleration of the system, right? Of the whole thing. बस अगर ए एक्सेलरेशन से आगे जाएगी तो आपके ऊपर जो pseudo force लगेगा, sitting inside the bus would be ma opposite to this acceleration, right? So in the same way, this is radially away from the center. Centripetal, पिटल का मतलब होता है towards, फ्यूगल का मतलब होता है away. Centri का मतलब होता है center of the circle. Centripetal towards the circle, centrifugal away from the circle. Okay? So before I move on, or before we move on to the maths or to the expression of the Coriolis force and the Euler force, I want us to, because since this is the maths, okay, this is it. This is what is there in the remaining part of the chapter. आप बताओ, आप बताओ कब जीरो होएगा. आपके सामने तो मैंने एक्सप्रेशन लिख दिया ना, y is equal to x minus 3. ये कब जीरो है, y की वैल्यू कब जीरो होगी पार्थ? y is equal to x minus 3. When is y 0? When x is equal to 3. So now I have written the expression for the centrifugal force there in front of you. When is it 0? The centrifugal force is 0 if omega is 0. But वो तो फिर rotating frame of reference ही नहीं है. Radius is 0. तो अगर एक ऑब्जेक्ट को मैंने एक्सिस पे रख दिया, अर्थ के लिए क्या अर्थ के लिए क्या होएगा भाई, अगर एक ऑब्जेक्ट को नॉर्थ पोल या साउथ पोल पे रख दिया, सॉरी, अगर एक ऑब्जेक्ट को नॉर्थ पोल या साउथ पोल पे रख दिया, राइट, तो उसके ऊपर सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स जीरो हो जाएगा, बिकॉज इट्स रेडियस ऑफ रोटेशन विल बी जीरो, राइट। आया समझ में? ओके, सो प्लीज टेक ए स्क्रीनशॉट, please take a screenshot. We are going to the next slide now. Okay, we are going to solve some problems. तो नॉर्थ पोल पे रेडियस जीरो होएगा ना, क्या 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 सोच के सुबह कुछ खाया है कि नहीं खाया है? अगर मैं यहाँ हूँ तो ये सर्कल है, अगर मैं यहाँ हूँ तो ये लैटिट्यूड और लॉन्गिट्यूड सुना है कि नहीं कभी? तो हम बेसिकली लैटिट्यूड्स पे गोल गोल घूम रहे हैं, राइट। सो if I'm here on the earth, then this is the circle along which I'm rotating. If I'm here, this is the circle. If I'm here, this is the circle. If I'm on the North Pole, then the radius of rotation is zero. Okay. Chalo, I'm going to change the slide and I'm going to do a question. Okay, I will solve this question and I want to show you that just like before, just like we discussed in translation, okay, just like we discussed in translation, the concept of pseudo forces is nothing but a different perspective, right? We are looking at the same situation from two different perspectives and therefore there are two different interpretations. कार बस में एक आदमी खड़ा हुआ है, बस आगे चली, आदमी को पीछे धक्का लगा। ये फिनोमेना केवल अंदर जो आदमी है, बस के अंदर जो ऑब्जर्वर्स हैं वो ऑब्जर्व करेंगे। बस चली, एक्सेलरेट की, उस आदमी के ऊपर धक्का लगा, पीछे गिरा, बोलेगा अरे मुझे किसने धक्का दिया, राइट। बाकी सब लोग बोलेंगे अबे तेरे को किसी ने धक्का नहीं दिया। तो बोलेगा अरे तो मैं तो गिरा, मेरे ऊपर तो फोर्स लगी, किसने लगाया? They will come to a conclusion that this force must have been imaginary. For the person outside, the bus moves forward, okay? And as the bus moves forward, it drags the man along with itself. Right? The bus moves forward, the man stays there, if you wish, something like that. जो बाहर वाला ऑब्जर्वर है वो बोल रहा है अबे बस आगे जा रही है, तो वही खड़ा हुआ है, पीछे गिरेगा ही गिरेगा। And the inside observer will talk about shadow forces, outside observer will talk about, the inertial observer will talk about normal forces, because for the inertial observer Newton's laws are still working. Yeah. So I just want to show the same thing here as well. So we have a disk and this disk is rotating about this blue axis like so, and on this disk there is kept a box like so, right, and this box is not moving with respect to the disk. Okay, that means the box is stationary with respect to the disk. So an inertial observer wants to explain what is happening. So the inertial observer will say कि अरे ऐसा है कि ये जो बॉक्स है ये रोटेट कर रहा है सर्कल में with a radius of r. Therefore, since it is circular motion, what I must do is that I must draw the radial axis, then I must draw the tangential axis, then I must draw the third axis. Okay, and then I must make, or I must draw the forces acting on this. Let me just draw the replica of these axes here. And then this guy will say, अच्छा ठीक है, mg तो नीचे act कर रहा है, n ऊपर act कर रहा है, and since the object is rotating, there must be a centripetal force, and this centripetal force can be nothing except friction. So let's say F. The friction has not reached its maximum value, that's why it is not moving with respect to the disk. And then this guy will say that, look, friction is providing the centripetal force, so friction must be equal to m into omega square r. This is the interpretation of the inertial observer. For the inertial observer, this is the centripetal or the radial force, and this is mass, and this object is the centripetal or the radial acceleration. Right, so what this guy has done, F is equal to ma लगाया इसने. The force is due to friction is equal to mass into acceleration. Now we come to the non-inertial observer, and I will now ask the most important question. Non-inertial, inertial हो गया. Non-inertial. So I will like to place one person here. Okay? So this guy is also rotating on the disk, okay? Not moving with respect to the disk. Therefore, rotating with the disk. And I will now ask the most important question. What, and all of you have to answer. मैं एक-एक करके सबसे पूछ रहा हूँ. What is the motion of the green box as seen by this rotating observer? What is the motion of the green box as seen by the rotating observer? What is the motion of the green box as seen by the rotating observer? अब मेरे को सिर्फ विश्वजीत, सत्यम, स्मित, मनीष, धनुष और अभिजीत ने रिप्लाई किया है. बाकी लोग प्लीज टेल मी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ मोशन विल द रोटेटिंग ऑब्जर्वर सी फॉर द ग्रीन बॉक्स. तन्मय और वेदांत ने भी रिप्लाई किया है, बिल्कुल सही रिप्लाई किया है. बाकी लोग नहीं, सोनल, आई एम आस्किंग कि वो उस रोटेटिंग ऑब्जर्वर को हरे बक्से का मोशन कैसा दिखाई देगा. क्या रोटेटिंग ऑब्जर्वर को हरे बक्से का मोशन कैसा दिखाई देगा? हाँ स्मिथ, राइट आंसर. हाँ तो जोहेब, तो क्या क्या बोलेंगे फिर उसके, क्या इसका फिजिक्स की लैंग्वेज में बताना मेरे को कुछ. बाकी लोग नॉट इंटरेस्टेड. हाँ सुदीप, बिल्कुल सही. हाँ हाँ, नहीं अद्वैत, ये गलत आंसर है. नहीं अथर्व, गलत है. बिल्कुल सही है अभिन. नहीं, गलत. राधिका. चलो बाकी लोग आई विल अज्यूम आर नॉट रियली इंटरेस्टेड. हाँ था सही. सो नहीं, the green box will appear to be at rest. Green box will appear to be at rest to the rotating observer, because remember motion का मतलब ही क्या होता है? मोशन का मतलब होता है relative change of position. अब जब ये बंदा बॉक्स को देखेगा तो बोलेगा कि अच्छा ठीक है, ये मुझसे इतना दूर है, इस डायरेक्शन में दूर है. जब ये डिस्क थोड़ा सा घूम जाएगा तो इसके लिए ये बॉक्स उसी डायरेक्शन में उतनी ही दूर है या अलग हो गया. that is what you really have to ask yourself. Okay, so for those of you who could not figure this out or simply decided not to answer or were sleeping or are sleeping, if this is the हाँ उतना ही दूर रहेगा ना. If this is the rotating green box and if this is the rotating observer, and let's say that the observer was here, then the distance and the direction of the position of the box will be this. After some time, the box has come here, the observer would be here, and the position of the box as seen by the observer will be like this. Right? Now, यहाँ से देख के, ऊपर से देख के ऐसा लग रहा है नहीं, मैग्नीट्यूड तो सेम रहेगा लेकिन डायरेक्शन चेंज होता जाएगा. But what you have to realize is that the direction of the object, the direction of the observer is also changing. So with respect to the observer, right? With respect to the observer, उसका क्या मतलब हुआ? अगर ऑब्जर्वर सामने देख रहा है तो ये रहा सामने देख रहा है. अगर ऑब्जर्वर सामने देख रहा है, यहाँ पे अगर ऑब्जर्वर सामने देख रहा है तो ये सामने देख रहा है. So this angle and this angle, they remain the same, they never change. So the angle made by the box and the distance of the box, they all remain constant. Therefore, the box is stationary with respect to this rotating observer. Right? So the acceleration of the box. Now, when this guy decides to make a free body diagram, rotating in two ways क्या होता है भाई? रोटेटिंग इन टू वेज क्या होता है? अगर आप एक रोटेटिंग टर्न टेबल पे खड़े हो और ये आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, ये सामने है, तो जब ये टर्न टेबल रोटेट हो जाएगा तो आपको ये सामने दिखाई देगा या कहीं और सामने दिखाई देगा? हाँ
सर नहीं, मैं बोल रहा था कि मतलब आप ये बोल रहे हो ना कि वो अपने एक्सिस के अलॉन्ग भी रोटेट कर रहा है तो डायरेक्शन चेंज नहीं होगा ना उसके लिए. मतलब वो टर्न टेबल के ऊपर तो रोटेट कर रहा है लेकिन अपने एक्सिस के अलॉन्ग भी रोटेट कर रहा है. मतलब पहले अगर नॉर्थ
नाच
फेसिंग था
थोड़ी
तो
ना
अभी
रहा है वो, वहाँ पे डिस्को डांस थोड़ी
सर
ना चल रहा है.
मतलब नहीं मतलब ये अगर वो नॉर्थ फेसिंग था, अभी टर्न टेबल घूमा वो ईस्ट पे आया तो वो मतलब ऐसे भी घूमा और फिर थोड़ा सा एक्सिस के अलॉन्ग भी अपने घूम रहा है. मतलब
क्या क्या
ऐसे हो रहा है क्या?
नहीं भाई, अगर मैं तेरे को अभी एक टर्न टेबल पे कुर्सी लेके बैठा दूंगा, कुर्सी फेसिंग आउटवर्ड्स, okay, and let's say that initially you are facing east, you are looking at east direction, Now, if I turn the turntable counterclockwise by 90 degrees, as seen from above, you will be facing which direction?
साउथ एंटी क्लॉकवाइज।
एंटी क्लॉकवाइज चले ना, ईस्ट से
अच्छा
नॉर्थ आ
ईस्ट में थे,
जाएगा ना।
हाँ ईस्ट में थे तो नॉर्थ में, वेस्ट समझ गया, सॉरी। हाँ नॉर्थ।
नॉर्थ आया,
हाँ सर।
फिर 90 डिग्री और घुमाऊंगा तो इधर फेस करेगा, 90 डिग्री और घुमाऊंगा तो इधर फेस करेगा।
हाँ सर।
तो विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस ऑब्जर्व, ये मेरी गो राउंड वाला एग्जांपल ले लो ना, एक हॉर्स पे एक आदमी बैठा है और ये
हाँ
बॉक्स
सर।
जो है कहीं और रखा है दूसरे हॉर्स के ऊपर, तो वो डिस्टेंस तो हमेशा सेम रहेगा
हाँ
और
हाँ हाँ,
डायरेक्शन भी
अच्छा
हमेशा सेम।
डायरेक्शन भी सेम रहेगा, ओके।
Okay, so the acceleration of the box is 0 and this guy makes all the same forces, right? तो बोलेगा mg एक्ट कर रहा है, बोलेगा n एक्ट कर रहा है, बोलेगा फ्रिक्शन एक्ट कर रहा है, लेकिन अब वो बोलेगा कि नहीं यहाँ तो एक और फोर्स लगी है, मास ऑफ द बॉक्स into omega square of the frame of reference into radius of rotation of the box, and this force is acting away from the center, radially away from the center. This force is the pseudo force. This force is the pseudo force. Okay, and it can only be added by the non-inertial observer. So according to this guy now, F minus m omega square r is equal to 0. So this now is the radial force and this is the acceleration. Look at the equations. The equation are the same. Equation तो same है. क्या चीज बदल गया? जो वहां पे एक्सेलरेशन की वैल्यू नॉन जीरो थी, यहाँ पे एक्सेलरेशन की वैल्यू जीरो हो गई। इसका मतलब कि इनर्शियल और नॉन इनर्शियल ऑब्जर्वर इस बॉक्स का डिफरेंट मोशन देखेंगे, which is absolutely true. If you are looking at the thing from outside, you will see the box going in a circle. But if you see the box from the perspective of the rotating observer, a person who is there on the turntable, the box is stationary. Okay? According to the non-inertial observer, there is only one force horizontally acting on it, that is friction. According to the non-inertial observer, there is another force acting on it, that is the centrifugal force. Okay? So now your turn now. Okay? Very simple questions, no complication. क्या करना है? रोटेटिंग ऑब्जर्वर को देखना है, उसके हिसाब से क्या एक्सीलरेशन होगा, और उसके हिसाब से क्या एफबीडी होगा। एक मिनट block of mass m is placed on the inner surface of a rotating cylinder as shown. If the coefficient of friction between mass cylinder mu, find minimum omega so that block does not slip. Now, you can do this problem uh, either from the non-inertial or from the inertial frame of reference. I want you to do it from both. हाँ बिल्कुल सही. गुड रवि जी. यस. हाँ बिल्कुल सही. दोनों मेथड से करना है. आंसर तो सबका सही आ ही रहा है. आंसर मत बताओ मेरे को, दोनों मेथड से करो. हाँ हाँ, आंसर सबका सही है. दोनों मेथड से करना है. All right. So from the inertial frame, non-inertial frame. Normal reaction N, mg, mu n. So n is equal to m omega square r. Mu n is equal to mg. Mu m omega square r is equal to mg. Right? Omega is equal to root g by mu r. Non-inertial. Everything is same. Mu n, mg, n, but this time we add a shadow force, m omega square r. So n minus m omega square r is equal to 0 and mu n is equal to mg. Right? We get the same answer. Interpretation is different. ये जो आदमी है, ये जो ऑब्जर्वर है, इसके लिए ये ब्लॉक रेस्ट पे रहेगा. Yeah? Next question. Please take a screenshot. ये लो प्रीवियस वाला चाहिए था ना इसको, हर्षित को स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो. हर्षित, ले लिया? Okay. Next question. Closed container moves in a horizontal circle of very large radius r. Pulley block system, which is horizontal, kept on the surface, ground, is placed as shown. If the system is released from rest, find acceleration of masses as seen by an observer inside the container. Right? And here we have the container. यहाँ पे center है, it is going around with an angular velocity of omega. और इसके अंदर एक पुली मास सिस्टम है. हाँ मतलब खुद ही उसके अंदर फिक्स्ड है ऑब्जेक्ट, खुद ही उस कंटेनर के अंदर फिक्स्ड है। फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बॉक्स तो अटैच ही है ना तभी। एचसीवी है ना सबके पास, ये एचसीवी का क्वेश्चन है। एचसीवी में आखिरी पेज खोलो इसका, सर्कुलर मोशन के क्वेश्चंस का, ओपन द लास्ट। हाँ, आंसर बस पढ़ के नहीं लिख देना है, यहाँ पे करना है और फिर हाँ बिल्कुल सही। हाँ, so what you have to do is you have to put a observer inside the container. That observer will also be rotating then. So what I do is that I put an observer here. Remember ये सब horizontal है, मतलब कि mg vertically downwards है, right? mg मैं यहाँ पे ड्रॉ नहीं कर सकता हूँ। और ये लार्ज रेडियस क्यों दिया हुआ है? why have they given a large radius? Because the individual radius of these two blocks then does not matter, it always remains a half. Okay, so now the thing is actually very easy. यहाँ पे टेंशन T लगेगा और यहाँ पे pseudo force m1 ओमेगा स्क्वायर r लगेगा, यहाँ पे टेंशन T लगेगा और यहाँ पे यहाँ पे m2 ओमेगा स्क्वायर r लगेगा, जो कि ये लिख नहीं रहा है तो सिंपल। हाँ, now you assume that इसका acceleration इधर a है और इसका इधर a है, बाकी हो गया काम हमारा। पहले वाले के लिए आएगा m1 ओमेगा स्क्वायर m1 omega square r minus t is equal to m1a and t minus and t minus m2 omega square r is equal to, add them, m1 minus m2 into omega square r, m1 plus m2. Right? So this is the same as the Atwood machine wala expression. In fact, अगर omega square r is equal to g होता तो क्या होता? If omega square r is equal to g, then what would happen? Then the person inside this lift, inside this container, supposing that we took this container out into space, somewhere far away, there is no gravitation. और वहां पे अगर हमने इसको ऐसे रोटेट कराया such that omega square r is equal to g, then for all practical purposes, this person will not be able to tell whether this person is on the surface of the earth or whether this person is in space. Okay, in fact, there is a concept which is called the O'Neill cylinder. Now, O'Neill was a physicist who thought of this. ज़्यादा उसमें दिमाग लगाने वाली बात नहीं है. But you can have a cylinder which can be rotating such that the value of omega square r is equal to g. When that happens, then the surface of the cylinder, if you are staying on the surface of the cylinder, inner surface of the cylinder, then there will be no difference between the earth and the लार्ज रेडियस इसलिए है क्योंकि m1 m2 अगर मैंने डायग्राम में तो सेम उस पर बना दिया है, बट आप बुक वाले डायग्राम में देखोगे तो m1 m2 डिफरेंट डिस्टेंसेस पे. लार्ज रेडियस इसलिए दिया है कि बट ये सिस्टम हॉरिजॉन्टली कैसे रहेगा ये समझ में नहीं आया मेरे को भाई. एक मैंने बक्सा लिया, उसमें मैंने कील से बक्से के फ्लोर पे पुली लगाई और मैंने एक रस्सी ली, उससे 2 मासेस जोड़े और मैंने उसको पुली के ऊपर से बक्से के अंदर रख दिया. फिर बक्से से एक बहुत लंबी स्ट्रिंग जोड़ी और मैंने वो स्ट्रिंग के थ्रू बक्से को गोल गोल घुमाना शुरू किया. अब इसमें क्या टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम समझ में आ रही है भाई, बताओ. क्या टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम समझ में आ रही है इसमें? हाइपोथेटिकल यूनिवर्स की नहीं बात, क्या हाइपोथेटिकल यूनिवर्स की बात हो रही है भाई? अंदर नाम क्यों नहीं लिखा है भैया? मेरे को क्या मालूम कि जेड की 220 यूके 004 कौन है? सो अच्छा अभिन्न है क्या? मुझे खांसी हो गई. सो this is how we are going to deal with डाउनवर्ड नहीं है तन्मय डाउनवर्ड इसमें वर्टिकली उधर है नीचे है अच्छा उत्कर्ष था क्या ये ईस्ट है ये नॉर्थ है ये साउथ है ये वेस्ट है अप डाउन में नहीं बना सकता हूँ हॉरिजॉन्टल 4 बार लिखा है हॉरिजॉन्टल सर्कल विच इज हॉरिजॉन्टल केप्ट ऑन द सरफेस इसीलिए ताकि आपको कंफ्यूजन ना हो okay so now you can do all the questions in HCV okay please finish and then the booklet we will be continuing with this some more questions we have to discuss earth wala jo maine bataya tha and जो बाकी दोनों pseudo forces हैं उनका थोड़ा सा और description okay that we'll do in the next class coefficient of f कहाँ से आया हाँ तो coefficient of हाँ 0 हाँ कोई फ्रिक्शन नहीं है यस नो फ्रिक्शन और नाम लिखा कर भैया आपने उसमें चलो okay so we will meet in the next class and I will then complete well the chapter is complete हाँ सर ये मेन लेवल का क्वेश्चन है बिल्कुल यस मेंस में ऐसा आ सकता है चलो ठीक है okay bye I will see you guys in the next class